You want to do for love. It's your everything. Tell y'all what, it is a very good Monday morning. How y'all doing? Monday afternoon, I should say. How y'all doing today? It's your Uncle Steve here in the Monday Aftermath, talking to you guys live from right outside Atlanta. Hope everyone had a great weekend. I was looking forward to coming back to you all just to get a nice feel. This time last week, we were, starting to hear a couple of little signings coming in and really didn't have a good grasp of what kind of direction the Falcons were going. I think we had already announced maybe 2 signings by then, but now we're full-fledged. We've made a few decent signings that can fill some holes. And one of the things that I want to truly let people know, I've seen, you're going to get criticism about everything. No team, no professional team, no one is going to go without criticism. The Kansas City Chiefs have criticism. The Golden State Warriors have criticism. Who won the championship? Just Houston Astros are going to have criticism. No matter what, you can't avoid it. Everyone has a different idea of how to get there, even myself. But at the end of the day, if you look at the level of talent on paper already, we haven't even gone through the draft yet. We've only gone through the first wave of free agency. So already I am encouraged because I see a lot more potential than I saw this time last year. And sometimes you do have to give credit where credit is due. There are a lot of things I don't like sometimes about Arthur Smith when he starts talking about situational play calling and things like that. But at the end of the day, he took a pretty mediocre roster and was in position to win at least 10 games this year. Was in position to. So let's hope that these additions that we made are those that are moving us to the next level. I hope so. I really hope so. I want to know what you think. What is the most significant move that you all have seen over the last week, whether it be the trade of John Smith here, whether it be re-signing our own and Caleb McGarry and extending Chris Lindstrom, whether it be big money Jesse Bates. What moves have gotten your attention over this last week? Just a shout out to everyone joining us in Uncle Steve's Lounge. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. The support has been overwhelming. If you all want to talk during the week, send me comments, man. I appreciate it. I'll try to answer it if I can. Brother be at work sometimes, but every now and then, if I get a break, I sneak on there to see if anybody said anything. Huge shout out to my first family, the Atlanta Bird Gang and Facebook group. Appreciate everyone and the support you all have given me over the years. Thank you so much. Let's get to it, man. Let's talk again. In this first wave of free agency, 2 questions. Which move was the best move so far? We still got a long way to go, folks, even after the draft. And what move are you still wanting to see? There are a couple of guys still out there. So what moves do you like? And what moves do you want to see as far as free agency concerned? John Brooks in the house, as always. Thank you very much. And I appreciate y'all pushing the like button for me. Thank you. John Brooks says right away, he says, I hope the Falcons sign Nicole Hartman. That's a name that has been going around in a couple of circles. If I'm not mistaken, I was seeing his value somewhere. I thought I saw on Spot Track where it was 10 I'm almost positive. I could be wrong, but I mean that would be a pretty nice pickup. I think he would really would be somebody a good addition to the team. I do like the signing we made last night, Matt Collis, and in the house. I think he could add a little bit of veteran stability in that wide receiver room. Right now, we are kind of hurting in that position. I don't know whether we go. I'm not sure if we go in the draft for that or not. We'll see. Let's go to Winston. What's going on, Winston? How you doing, sir? Good to see you in the house. John Brooks says, I think the Falcons signing Matt Hollis was a decent signing, but it doesn't scream big name, but it's a decent signing. That's what I'm saying. It was a good signing. It was a good signing. I still think we need a little bit of help in the wide receiver room. If you look at what quite honestly, we had a weak wide receiver room going into 2022. Drake London has definitely established himself as the number one receiver, but on this particular roster, it might not be saying a whole lot. It's not a super criticism. It's just saying that we need to improve that room. I would like to improve that room. Charles B in the house. What's going on, brother? Thank you for joining us on Uncle Steve's Lounge, as well as RJ ATL for life, as always. Appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Thank you, John. I appreciate the encouragement. Yeah, if y'all feel like it, please push the like button. The brothers at 980 subscribers. If y'all have somebody who you know is a Falcon fan, just want to talk, shoot the proverbial junk with me and about this team, please ask them to come over, sub, and we'll chop it up, man. Derek Flowers in the house. What's going on, sir? How you doing, man? Good to see you in the house. My brother Todrick, how you doing, sir? Say, we expected you Sunday. What happened? Let me tell you what happened on Sunday, Todrick. I had every intention on coming on. And I apologize because I really did plan on coming on Sunday. I have a lot of responsibilities at my church, and that kind of bled over past after the service. And by the time, if you're about an hour or two off schedule, then you get home and you're off schedule. And by the end of that, you don't get a chance to catch up. So my apologies. That's why I didn't put a show thing on that particular one yesterday. And my plan is to be on Sundays at some time. I can't even commit because I know sometimes the times will be wonky, but I do plan on trying to be on Sundays more than anything. But you'll always catch me here Monday. Y'all already know. And then the brunch is on Friday. So I try my best to those 2 days. I definitely try to make sure I'm talking to the peeps on Mondays and Fridays. Anthony in the house. What's going on, man? I am feeling well, sir. Feeling good. The weather is just so weird, man. So it's so cold in the morning. And then maybe by noon today, I went outside, man. I had to take off the jacket. I was like, man, that's a nice little sunshine. And don't get me wrong, it's not 70 degrees, but it feels pretty good out there. But y'all enjoyed your time outside. It's supposed to be getting warm. I know it's supposed to rain later in the week, but I love to see the temperatures above 70. And I think that's what they're saying, Wednesday, Thursday, and even in the 80s. David Starks in the house, always supporting the brother. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Norman here too. What's going on? What's going on? See, Facebook user, what's going on? Uncle Stephen, what's going on with you? Devontae, hadn't seen you in a minute. Devontae, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Dre in the house. Say, sign that man up for a record deal. I know who you're talking about. Brother Kenny is in the house. Kenny said, what's up, Uncle Steve? I thought you were going to give us a little Southern Silk. Let me tell you, man, I've been trying to get Big Low, man. I went solo. I think he kicked me out the group. Nah, he didn't kick me out. I left voluntarily out of the group. But I told him, I said, I want us to get together on a Sunday in between this time, between now and the draft, where we can talk football and sing requests. So hopefully we can get that started sometime in the next week or two just to have some fun. But I appreciate that, Kenny boy. And shout out to my brothers, man, Smitty been putting out info all week long, keeping up with the latest signings, keeping y'all abreast of the draft. Big Low Country been out there doing his thing, man. Still rehabbing that hamstring, but continuing to bring that positive Falcon content to you guys. My brother Alberto, and I think he was a little sick last week, but I think hopefully he'll be back in the house sooner or later in 95 North. Hopefully he will get back on the airways pretty soon because we miss him, and hope he brings some good content. Give a shout out to One Time for the Fan, man. They gave me a little shout out yesterday. I do plan on hooking up with you, brothers. I got to catch up with you when my schedule is conducive to the time that you all are on. But love your content. Watch you guys last night with Big Low stepping in. Always good to see you guys on the air. Travis Wright in the house. What's going on? Greg Brown, what's going on, man? Said shoes coming on a positive note. I think most signings on the tail end are depth signings that we need. And yeah, somebody was talking about the Tay Davis signing the other day, and I was trying to, and also Cornell Armstrong. And I was saying, before people jump off a ledge, folks, you still have to fill out a 53-man roster. Every person that we sign is not going to be a 5-star everyday starter or whatever. Cornell Armstrong, yeah, I know he didn't exactly have a strong start, but remember, he was kind of thrown, into the wolves last season. And I know he's on a pro roster, but that was his first time out there. He gave one of the games he played pretty decent. But give him another year. Let's see what happens. I don't think that hurts you at all. Tay Davis, that's a nice little signing. None of that hurts you at all. It's depth, like Greg said. And by the way, as soon as Greg has my shoes ready, I'm going to show them here. Y'all make sure y'all keep up with brother Greg. Greg, if you do, put your link in the chat so people know where you are, and we can get that bad boy started. Facebook user says, since we didn't start Ritter all year last year like we should have, Ritter is still a mystery. Ritter shouldn't be given QB1 without earning it. Falcons are much better on paper so far, but our coach and Drake lost us 3 games easy. I know Drake did fumble away a couple of balls last year. Yeah, I will never stop. I know there's this constant narrative. Y'all stop talking about Ritter. Ritter's so fragile. Don't talk about him. Let's support him and whatever. And there is a difference between support, which I do, and fair criticism. The best quarterbacks get criticized. Last year, when Patrick Mahomes was throwing the ball up for the grabs in the second half of that AFC Championship game, he was getting crucified. And nobody talks about that. Desmond Ritter seems like a good guy. I hope and wish him well. Obviously, he's going to, at this second, he's probably going to be leading the team, even though there hasn't been an official word. Everybody's taking a little interview snippet from Taylor Heineke, who was just glad to be here, and running with that. I haven't heard one person come out and say it. Now, that being said, don't overload me with the "I told you so" when Terry and Arthur come out with their press conference, as I'm sure they will soon. But yeah, I'm going to support the young man, but I have questions. It's fair. It's fair to have questions, and I'm not going to shy away from it. I'm not going to be the guy that's going to. Ritter is the greatest since sliced bread. Now, if he shows me that, cool. But right now, I'm a Falcon fan. And if he's going to be the starting quarterback, I'm not rooting against him. I'm going to support him. But I have questions, and I wish we had a little bit more. I wish I had more faith in what he could do. It has nothing to do with his abilities. I just hadn't seen it. And for everybody that wants to bring up Cincinnati, it's no different than bringing up C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, Will Levis. It's no different. We haven't seen him consistently against pro defenses. You haven't. And please stop with the 4 game stuff. That's not enough. So I hear you. Atlanta Bird Gang in the house. What is going on, young man? How you doing today? Brother Tidy and I will spearhead draft coverage on draft night, April 27th. Please make sure y'all check us out that particular night. Think we got some good stuff lined up for you in Atlanta Bird Gang chat and on Uncle Steve's Lounge. Please, I know there's a lot of folks going to be doing a lot of things. I don't mind y'all channel surfing, man. Just hop on here, hop on to other folks, man, because we support them all. Just give us some love that night, too. We will definitely be there. False Stop, what's going on? Say, we are going to be straight. They say next we have $100 million in cap room. And I saw that, but I also, I mean, not worried about next year right now. I don't know why, but it's important to me to win now. I hear the thoughts and everything from last year. I wanted to win in 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and I want to win next year. I don't want to wait. I don't want to hear about the salary crap from $100 million next year. I want to see what the guys are going to do this year. Put a product on the field that's going to be quality and sustaining some of that success. I'm not talking about you specifically, brother, but I'm hearing, I was looking at all the things. We'll have $100 million in cap. Well, that doesn't do you any good if, you got all that cap room. It's a reason why. It's not because you're balling out. If you're balling out, your salary cap is probably pretty tight. But if you have all this room, that's nothing to brag about. That means you're lacking. Or we're trying to get over on C+ talent. So I hear you. I mean, I mean to poo-poo that, but I'm just saying, that's not important to me. I want to win. David says extension of Lindstrom is an important thing needed to pay that man. Yeah, Lindstrom and McGarry being there, and I like the re-signing of McGarry. I just hope he doesn't. I hope he sustained the level he did in 2022. That's my only little bit of worry as far as he is concerned. But he does. He does give us a little stability. Derek says signing Bates was the biggest move, not necessarily a splash move, but an upgrade. And this particular defense, to me, I think it was very important that you showed that you needed that type of guy at the safety position. We've been lacking at that position since Rico left. And let's not try to pretend Rico was A+. Rico was probably even at his Super Bowl highest B-. So our safety play hasn't been great. I think the last decent safety we had was William Moore. And that was a while ago. But getting Jesse Bates should clean up some stuff in the middle, hopefully, and maybe cover up some of those deficiencies we had. And listen, I haven't given up on Richie Grant. Richie Grant needed somebody else in there to learn from. Richie Grant didn't have anybody in there. Eric Allen is not really my model of who to pattern your game after, in my opinion. So maybe having Jesse Bates in there, maybe those guys, the Jalen Hawkins, the Richie Grants, can see what a top-notch safety is all about. Tyler said the most significant move was not mortgaging our future and going to cap hell for Lamar. I understand. I hear you. I'm not here to, Todd, me and you can go round and round about that. And I feel you. It looks like the organization agrees with you. And hey, as long as we win, brother, I'm down. As long as we get it. He also says, I want to sign McCole. Yeah, McCole Hardman. I almost wonder these second and third week free agent signings, you almost wonder, is it them holding out or holding out for more money, or they really are taking their time to pick their correct situation? Remember, Hartman is at a place where he's won 2 Super Bowls. And when healthy, he's very, he's a good piece of that offense. But now that you have Pacheco there, it's kind of, I don't know. He's good running back. They might be thinking about putting him in those particular positions where you had him running those end arounds, even as a running back because of his speed. But Kansas City, that's another team. They lost Juju this year. Don't be surprised if they end up getting somebody like D-Hop. I could see D-Hop going there just to help him out. Kansas City is in a world of hurt in their wide receiver room as well. Facebook user says another pass rusher. Yes, absolutely. We need another top pass rusher. Player stats. What's going on? Say the wide receiver room is depleted. I don't even know if depleted is a strong enough word. When you look at Drake London and you look behind that, it's really, I'm looking on the roster right now. Now, we signed Matt Hollis, and I don't want everybody to go crazy, but it's a solid signing, but I'm not even sure he's a wide receiver too. Matt Hollins is here, and I'm looking at wide receiver. Frank Darby is still here. Jared Bernhardt is still on the roster. Josh Ali is on the roster. Rashawn Henry is on the roster, and that's it. So I know they're not going to go into this season with just those guys on there. I'm thinking they're going to probably go into the draft and probably try to upgrade their room. Winston says, I think McCole wants too much money for his lack of production. Yeah, and McCole was not a focal point of the offense. When you're in an offense that 3 or 4 years ago had Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, and then even last year near the end, Juju Smith and Travis Kelce, you find yourself being the odd man out when they start talking about touches. And McKinnon came on too. So, yeah, maybe I don't know, maybe he's kind of overplaying his worth in the NFL. Norman said, I'd like to signing our own. I would like to have signing our own was big to me. Yeah, as far as McGarry, Lindstrom, Keith Smith, just good guys that are good folks in your own locker room. That's good. David says, I'm looking forward to the draft now, not looking to bring in any more free agents. Right. The draft is going to be interesting. I have no idea which way they're going to go. Jalen Carter, I know everybody's talking about that, and I'm gonna. Well, you know what? I'm gonna get a couple more comments, and then I'll get into the Jalen Carter, my thoughts, because I've really never told my thoughts about that. Derek Flower says, I think we still avoid a decent pass rusher. We're also in need of a running back because of Huntley. Yeah, I'm not as the crazy thing is I'm not as concerned about running back because I've seen what they can do with journeyman running backs and undrafted free agent running backs right now. There's one thing I'm sure that Arthur Smith can do and his offense can do is run the ball. So while I would like to see a running back, I see people talking about the Bijan Robinson thing, and I'm saying, yeah, but dude, all I need y'all to do is you can get me a third rounder running back and save that big pick for somebody on the defense, which I think you do need to probably go in the first round. Kenny says, I love JB3. Anytime we take away good guys from our rivals, yeah, absolutely. Bates is in the house. Dre says, Ritter to the Cards for their 4th round picks. Now we know what the Panthers want. Yeah, I don't think that's happening, brother. Raymond in the house, what's going on? Travis says, the big moves I like is signing Lindstrom, Omayata, and Jesse Bates. I see it makes sure the foundation is intact. Yes, sir. Fallstar said, I might have been your first up on you. I think you were. I think you were one of the first ones. I do. I probably, if I could give a gold star, I wish I could. But you probably were. So by the time we get to 1,000, the little bubbly I'll sip on that day, I'll share a drink with you, brother. Norman says, would love to see Falcons draft X-Men from FAMU late in the draft. Yeah, I saw the little guy from FAMU on there. That would be kind of interesting to see because the Falcons were at the second little HBCU pro day that they had there. So it'll be interesting to see if they cross the streams again and go find a diamond in the rough like we did last year. RJ says, I like the Jesse Bates signing to help anchor the secondary. However, the Falcons still need that one pass rusher who can disrupt the opposition and take over a game. I wonder, too, on that same level of McCole Hardman, the Yannick Ngakoue, what is he actually holding out for? Because he's probably a guy who could have his pick at this moment because so many people need edge rushers. So many people put a premium on rushing the quarterback. It's not like he has to settle. So if I were him, I'd go for the highest bidder or the best situation for him. He's moved around now enough to where he probably knows what he wants. And I don't know whether the Falcons are on that list or not. Reggie CK, Reggie C2K, what's going on, brother? How you doing? Good to see you. Anthony in the house. What's going on, Anthony? Good to see you, my friend. Timothy Geralds, as always, in here. Thank you, brother. Travis said the best move of the offseason will obviously be making the superhero the superstar. the superhero the starter. Yeah. Yeah. Devontae says, Uncle, we go into free agency again. Do we go offense or defense at this point, Devontae? I think you've got to still keep building on the defense. I still think we need to look at that guard position if you're not bringing Elijah Wilkinson back. I'm still not 100% sold on Dahlman. I would love to see some maybe bringing in somebody at center. I'm looking as I see Jacqueline in the house. How you doing? Says Ben Jones is still available, and that's somebody I was thinking about at the center position. But there are still so many questions on that defensive end. I would love to see what this game plan is for the secondary. People have been talking about Hayward and talking about cutting him and whatever, but maybe the Falcons might. I mean, it's not a huge number for Hayward, and bring in somebody else. And you don't necessarily have to have just two big-time cornerbacks. I mean, in a passing NFL, you need to have as many guys back there in the back as you can. So those are the positions that I'm still a little leery of. So I would definitely like to see them work on anything on that offensive line and what we're going to do in that nickel slot or that other side of the secondary if we're not keeping Casey Hayward. Millie Mills in the house. What's going on, my brother? Rusty says, what's up, Russ? Says, mixed feelings about the current state of the roster. Would like to have been a little bit more aggressive. Was listening to ESPN radio earlier, and someone said that running games don't carry you to Super Bowls. Quarterbacks do. That made me go, not what you want to hear if you're a Falcon fan. These are those things, Rusty, that when you try to explain to the groundswell, the grassroots Desmond Ridder folks, it's not about the character or the possible ability of Desmond Ridder. It's about this is a quarterback league. Yeah, y'all can play the build up the defense and put anybody by there if you want to. But this is a quarterback league. You have to get a quarterback. You must. You have to. In order to win in this league, you need a quarterback. And yeah. And I want so much to eat these words that Ridder is not my favorite choice. I would love in 2 years to say, man, I was so wrong about Ridder. He's led us to the promised land. He got us in the mix. He keeps us competitive. I want to be able to say that. But March 20th at this moment, I can't. Not right now. And that doesn't mean hate. It's not hate, folks. It's an opinion. Ghost Peppers in the house. What's going on, man? So just want to say CBS Sports sucks. Chris Lindstrom doesn't. Lindstrom is the best guard in NFL. Excellent signing. Also, the Pro Bowl is a popular. Actually, it is. Yeah, the Pro Bowl. Yeah, all you got to know for the Pro Bowl, Ghost Peppers, Tyler Huntley was a Pro Bowl quarterback this year. I shouldn't have to say another word. Chris says, what's good, Uncle Steve? What's going on, Chris? So I hope you're having a blessed day. You as well. Quick question for you. Do you think we will draft a quarterback? I keep telling myself we are going to be like San Fran, copycat with their quarterback situation. I know San Fran had some injuries, but I'm thinking that's what's about to happen. I think the possibility of us drafting a quarterback is high for the second, possibly third round. I do think it's imperative for us to probably get your best defensive player on the board for your pick at number 8. The quarterbacks are going to be gone, the top guys. There's no way either 4 of those quarterbacks are going to be there because you got some quarterback-hungry teams. And with Carolina leapfrogging you, that just let it be known that those guys will be gone by the time you get to 8. So if I'm looking at 8, I'm looking at the guys that everybody's talking about. Will Anderson, who I think will be gone, Jalen Carter, Christian Gonzalez, my man from Texas Tech. Those are the people that I'm looking at possibly at number 8. You have some decisions to make, but if a Herndon Hooker is there, and in the second round, possibly, that would be the only guy I would look at. So we'll see. Facebook user says, we need to sign a cornerback and pass rusher in free agency. Again, it depends on what they feel about Casey Hayward. Do they feel like Casey? Because I think if Casey Hayward was going to be gone, I think they would have cut him already. Unless he's going to be a June 1st designation. But I would have thought they'd try to clear some of that cap room now if they were moving on from him. Even if they don't, even if you keep him, I look at cornerback as being another premium position that we could be looking for. Pass rusher is always going to be something that we look at. Facebook user said, what's up, Steve? Collins is an okay sign. He don't have jet speed, but he's a go-getter. We do need to draft or sign another. I'm on the fence with Ellis. Got to see how DC plan is. Ellis thrives in schemes blitz. I really like Grady got some help from Omiyata, or however you say his name. And I'm not sure I say it correctly either, but I know who you're talking about, brother. So it's all good. Yeah, I like the fact that these guys have played with Coach Nielsen before. And I talked about it if you all were with me about 3 weeks ago, or 3 or 4 weeks ago, whenever we brought Coach Nielsen in here, I said, with those free agents in New Orleans, and it still might not be over, they're going to be New Orleans guys that are going to come here, defensive guys who played with him, that are familiar with what he was doing, and want to still be a part of that because of their ability to adjust to what his game plan. I still think we might have some defections from the Bayou. Stay tuned. Lisa, what's going on? New look Falcons, new look NFC South too. Yes, absolutely. The NFC South, it's going to be very interesting. You got the Saints that signed Derek Carr back here and picked up Jamal Williams too, right? Carolina yesterday, Adam Thielen signs a 3-year deal with the Panthers, which was a little surprising to me that he ended up staying there. They're going to have a new quarterback one way or another there. It's going to be very interesting to see. Miles Sanders end up with the Panthers. And, of course, Baker Mayfield signs with Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's a new day in the NFC South. Just like that. Just like that. The whole NFC South is topsy-turvy. And what I want to do is be that team that's out front. So hopefully the Falcons, this is probably a resting period, kind of gathered all their thoughts and things. And people don't think, everyone keeps looking at the cap number for now, which I think is somewhere. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to ask. According to Spot Track, salary cap at the second year. And don't ask me why I looked at, when I saw that, I looked at the Arizona Cardinals for some reason. So, I'm sorry, y'all. At this moment, we are looking at $23 million according to Spot Track, and I know there are other places over the cap and other websites that keep up with them, but we still have the ability to do some things with Grady Jarrett's contract and Jake Matthews' contract if we needed more room for maybe Ngakoue signing to come in here or something like that if we needed to. So it's not all out of the mix. Big John in the house. What's going on, man? Good to see you in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the Atlanta Bird Gang group coming in and checking your Unc out. Ghost Pepper says if Lindstrom played anywhere else but the ATL, he would be penciled in as a Pro Bowler for the next 7 years. And that's the thing, Ghost. Every time I try to explain that to folks, there are Pro Bowlers on winning teams that really don't deserve it. They're Pro Bowlers because you see them all the time, because they are perennial winners, because they're always in the playoffs. The Dallas Cowboys right now have the most overrated team in the NFL. And that's not knocking, they had a winning season and everything, but their whole roster is not that talent rich. You can't be that talent rich and haven't been to the NFC Championship in 20 plus years. So every time I see 7 Pro Bowlers from the Dallas Cowboys, that's a farce. Facebook user says it's important for Smith to win this year. Yeah, can't have a slow start. Can't. John says, to be honest, I'm so sick and tired of the Ritter hype. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate Ritter. I just think people are overhyping. That is what it makes me not like him. And I think I think there's a groundswell of fans who feel like if you don't verbally express your that Ritter is the guy, that makes you less of a Falcon fan. And again, I put support in a different arena than I do personal thoughts. I will support whoever wears the brand. Falcon brand, they wearing their helmet right there, you got me. You wearing that, you got me. So Ritter got me. He got me right now. Right now, Ritter is the guy. That doesn't mean I have to come on every day and start talking about how great he is. That's where we run into a problem sometimes with some of our Falcon fans, where we overhype the mediocre guy, the guys that really are okay, but we overhype. We do. And I just don't want to fall in that trap. Listen, I've been taken to the prom many a times by this team and left right there, left on the dance floor every year. Taking me out, left me out there right in the middle of the dance. And, hey, what happened? Because they hype me up and they bring me in there and they just leave me. So I don't want to keep doing that. But again, that doesn't mean I don't like our quarterback. I do like him. Wish we had another. JJ, what's going on? Next season should only be an afterthought at this point. We need to focus solely on this season and get the train moving. See, that's my thing, JJ. And like I said, my boy Falstar, that's my partner. He know I'm not knocking him, but I don't care about 2024 right now. I don't care about 2025. I really don't. I care about 2023. And we're at a point where our division is going through so much change that we can actually have a home playoff game in January by winning, which should be a very competitive division. And when I say competitive, I'm not saying all teams are so great that we're all going to max out on 10 wins. I'm saying we're all going through the same stuff right now. There is no full. I think I heard somebody on NFL Network say, well, New Orleans is a clear favorite because Derek Carr is the best. He gives them the best stability coming out of it, and which is crazy to me. Derek Carr got kicked out of Las Vegas. He didn't leave on his own. He was escorted out. It was a little different than the situation here where the guy said, "Oh, my knee hurts and I'm going home." Derek Carr was told, "Hey, bro, we don't need you anymore. If you want to take a week or two off, go ahead." That's what he was told. And you're telling me somebody that was kicked out of a place is the top person in our division right now? That's scary. Scary. Christian says, I could care less about next year's cap space. It's been 7 seasons since our last playoff. We got to start strong and finish strong this season. Amen, brother. Millie says, you already give your thoughts on the Matt Hollins signing. I like it. I've seen the young man, and he's pretty decent. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and say he's the answer at wide receiver too, but he gives you somebody solid. I've seen him. He's a tough guy. I like that. Philip in the house. What's going on, brother Philip? Philip got on me. He got on me bad for my apology last week on YouTube. If y'all haven't seen, Philip got on me hard. My bad, Philip. I like Ritter, but it's funny how people try to downplay Lamar Jackson just to protect a third round draft pick. The mediocre mind is real. And Philip, you know where I land on that. The mere fact that the crickets are on with the whole Lamar Jackson thing, I've just kind of said that situation is going to work itself out. All I can do now is just, worry about what's going on our roster. But to your point, Philip, it is interesting how people tend to make the comparisons between the two guys in favor of the third round pick who's barely played a couple of games this year. I've seen every comparison from Ritter to Mahomes, from Ritter to Purdy, from Ritter to Jalen Hurts, from Ritter to, and all of those are great unless you've been a Falcon fan for decades like I have, where we saw the promise of Chris Miller and what he was going to be. We saw the promise of, it was just on my mind just a second ago, Dave Archer and what he was going to be. We saw the promise of what we thought Chris Chandler was going to hang in here another year or two. We thank him for the Super Bowl, don't get me wrong, but we thought he would end up sticking around a little longer. The promise of Joey Harrington, and I know he was a stopgap quarterback from Oregon. That sounds familiar. But just the promises that we're getting. I know I hear that. But, folks, I don't know how many more years I got on this earth. I really don't. Lord willing, I'll be here for a minute. But I would like to see one more run at this thing before I get old or before my glasses prescription gets too thick, I would like to see one more nice run at the championship. And yeah, a really good quarterback would help. Gregory says, I tell you what, Bates is better than Neal was as a coverage safety. You know what? And I forgot about Neal, Greg. I'm glad you brought him up. I don't want to underplay what Keanu Neal was when he was here, because that season, he was actually pretty good. And if you remember, Greg, he was projected as a second-round pick. A lot of people scratched their heads, and give him credit. He did play well those first couple of years when he was here. I by no way is he in bust category. No Budget Charlie says that $100 million for 2024 is before these recent free agent signings. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Thank you, John. Appreciate that. Thank you. Twan, what's going on, man? Say, you think we'll make the trade up to number 3 with Arizona Cardinals? I'm worried about how much we would have to give up. But if we can't go up for the trade, then I definitely want us to trade back. Yeah, I'm not a fan, Twan, of moving up to number 3, because what are you going up there for? I mean, unless you're telling me you've got to get Will Anderson, and that's the game plan. Yeah, I just saw what Carolina gave up to get up to Chicago, and granted, we might not have to give that much up. Yeah, I don't know. If you're going to number 3, to me, that tells me you got your eyes on one of the quarterbacks. But I don't know. As much as I love Will Anderson and I'd love to see him in a Falcon uniform, I'm not sure you need to make that jump and give up picks to get up there. And definitely Jalen Carter is at a point right now where I don't think you have to do all of that. I think Jalen will fall. Jalen will fall right in your lap if you stay at number 8. I think he'll fall right there for you. Dre says bring in Odell. Nah, I'm not bringing in Odell. You think Odell complained in New York when they weren't throwing in the ball? Oh, he gets in this little ball control offense and running the ball 70% of the time. Oh, man, he'll be crying before the first. No, he ain't coming here. Christian says, all I'm going to say to the fans that don't want Lamar, go to the Benz this season and see how many fans are rushing to see Ritter. And image would the Benz look like if Lamar is in black and red. And you know I've been tuning that trumpet from the beginning, my brother. I think I'm at a point now where I still have the dream in the back of my head, but at the moment it looks like Ritter. So I'm trying to redirect my fandom, because at the end of the day, if training camp comes, we are going to need to give him support, because he's going to be it's going to be a lot of pressure on that young man. It really is. Because you do have a section of the fan base that thought you could have done better. Because I didn't see the champagne popping and the fireworks going off when Taylor Heineke was signed last Wednesday. So he's going to need our support if he doesn't, if he ends up being the number 1 quarterback. And what if he has a horrible preseason, y'all? What if Ritter has a horrible preseason? Do you still let him start just because you've already kind of made that commitment? Even though, keep in mind, I haven't heard anything from coach or GM yet. John says, Dondre, I wouldn't mind having Odell, but I think he's going to want money. Oh, not only is he going to want money, John, I'm just not sure we are that offense that throws it around like that. I don't think we're going to throw it enough for Odell. Odell wants some numbers, man. He wants those numbers. I just, yeah. It sounds good on paper, but I don't think so. Billy says, y'all don't get mad if we double dip in the draft for a wide receiver. That wouldn't hurt my feelings as long as it's like maybe the middle of the rounds. Ghost says, great. Frank Darby is the next Shucky Ducky. but that's why he's still on the roster. Frank Darby is good for laughs. I know he got one pass in that game against Tampa Bay. I don't know. Millie Mill says, I kind of hope we get Siaka Ika from Baylor. We need a pure nose tackle just to crush the pocket. Now, I will say this. Speaking of nose tackles, speaking of big guys on the Jalen Carter thing, and I wanted to speak on it because I really hadn't had an opportunity to. Jalen Carter, I have two different sides on this particular subject. I do think if he's at number 8, I would not mind the Falcons getting him because I think we would have a strong enough locker room that may be able to hopefully shape him into getting the job done and doing his thing. You brought in Onyemata. You have Grady Jarrett. You got some folks on there that's not going to let him slack. It does concern me about what's going on mentally. I will go to the part where I have sympathy. No matter how wrong you're doing, I'm pretty sure that man has the weight of the world on him because he allegedly was part of the chase that may have in some way contributed to the other car, losing control. And when I say contributed to, I'm not talking about he pushed him. I'm saying, but they were racing. And if they allegedly were racing, if they weren't racing, everybody would still be here and in his mind would be free. But then I go to the other part of this, which is more practical and just keeping it real. Jalen Carter knew Pro Day was coming. Jalen Carter also knew how important this Pro Day was. And if you come in by the standard of what they're thinking, they're overweight, out of shape, and not able to finish the drills for a day that was planned. So in other words, you knew you had to be in that, even with all the other stuff surrounding him emotionally and mentally. Because what you could have done is say, you know what, I don't want to be part of it, which would have had more red flags. But I think you made even a bigger mistake by going to the Pro Day and not showing up. And it's not fair. It's not fair. The criticism is not fair to him, but it is what it is. Because guess what? I don't have to hire him. I'm not the one that's going to have to sign him to a contract that's going to pay him $7 to $8, $9 million a year as a first round pick. So when he doesn't have the discipline to at least be ready for that big moment in life, I have to question that. If I'm putting him on a roster where I'm going to sign him for millions of dollars, I have to do my due diligence. And if my due diligence tells me that he wasn't ready to put in the time and the work to do those things, folks, I have to question that. I have to question that. That doesn't make me the devil. That just says I'm going to look out for what I'm about to invest in. And it's unfair. It's really unfair for him. It's really unfair. And I hope the young man, more importantly, gets himself together because he has the potential to be a game wrecker. But at this moment, 2023 has not been good to him. I'm hoping he can get it together. I'm going to sneak to a couple of people I haven't seen in here. I appreciate the chat, and y'all keep chatting between yourselves going in. Daquan, what's going on? I'm a Falcon fan, but the Panthers are going to be scary with Stroud or Young, respectfully. Well, Daquan, just like we were talking about with Desmond Ridder, college is a whole different animal. It's been a long time since a rookie quarterback has come into the league and been successful from the jump. The last one, the last significant one, was on our roster in Matt Ryan and Russell Wilson. I got to give him credit, but Russell Wilson had a little bit more of a defense in there for him. But it's hard. People act like it's automatic. All the number one picks over the Cam Newtons, the Mike Vicks, the Trevor Lawrence's, the name your quarterback. It's hard to jump out at the very beginning. Now, if you're talking about extended into the future, yeah. But I'm talking about 2023. I can't worry about 2024 right now and 2025. I'm worried about now. So right now, I'm a little concerned, but not that concerned about what the Panthers are doing. They're just like us. JJ the Great in the house. What's going on, sir? Thank you very much. John says, what do you think happened with Lamar Jackson? The Ravens state they haven't seen him in 2 days. Yeah, I think they're going to have to go back to the drawing board, man. People aren't biting. Nobody's reaching for what the Ravens probably were geniuses for doing what they did. The Ravens says, okay, you trying to stick us up. Go out there and see if you can find somebody that's going to do that for you, brother. We got you. And guess what? If they undercut you, we're going to take advantage of it. I think I hope the best for him, but I think, unfortunately, he's playing himself. I really do. I think he's playing himself. JJ said Cowboys have been overrated my entire life, despite never making it past the second round in my 23 years of life. Yeah, bro, you can go back even further than that. Because I'm telling you, man, the Cowboys are the most front-running team in the NFL. The Cowboys, every year, there's a publication every year that says, this is the Cowboys' year. And I remind every Cowboy fan that tries to reach back to those Super Bowls with the Lombardi trophies with the rust on them, that the Falcons have been to 2 Super Bowls and 4 championship games in the same time period that the Dallas won their last Super Bowl. But their fandom is great. You got to give them credit, but super overrated. Winston says, right now the NFC South is wide open. There's no reason we shouldn't win the division unless the Ritter experiment doesn't work out. Only team that should give us a run next year is Carolina. Now, here's the only time that I'm going to poof and go into the magic ball for the future. Let's say, for instance, Ritter doesn't work out. And whoever Carolina brings in there, whether it be C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young, their growth from year 1 to year 2 mirrors Trevor Lawrence's, mirrors Joe Burrow's. Let's just say that happens. And Ritter stays on that same line. Then you got problems. That's why I try to say you got to get in these little pockets of opportunity when you can. We had a pocket of opportunity when we overpaid all of our veterans. Had we started doing some rebuilding more in 19 and 20, as opposed to 21 and 22, we would have won this division by 3 games this year. Because the Matt Ryan thing was done in 19. It really was. Anything we doing after 19 was smoke and mirrors. We really should have 19, despite 4,000 yards passing. If you couldn't see what was going on, Matt was not that guy anymore. And as you see with this, which was supposed to be this, rejuvenated Matt in Indianapolis, it's a lot of the same stuff. You have to know when to make that move. That's why I give Andy Reid and the folks up in Kansas City all the credit in the world. My brother Alex Smith had them winning had them in the mix. But they said, you know what? This little Mahomes guy, let's give him a shot because maybe there's something stale going on here. They weren't afraid to say, yeah, we still had a winning season, but we need to improve that position. We'll see what happens later. Jay Crew in the house say, Unc, I really have to ask, what are the Falcons not doing getting an in by now? Ngakwe and Leonard Floyd are still available. We still have $20 million in cap. Maybe they're trying to hold us up too, Jay, I apologize. Jay, they're trying to hold us up, or not hold us up. Maybe they're holding up other people. If you think about it, I mean, both of those guys are pretty good, but they probably want to get paid too. I mean, both of them, mid to late 20s? Yeah, this is that last chance for that nice payday before you go into the sunset of the into your 30s. You can't. It sounds simple when you say, let me take somebody on a 1-year contract. But you take these guys on 1-year contract, they want to get paid. And then and you think about Ngakwe, I mean, I think, let's see, when was he a rookie? Was that 18, 19, 18, 17, 18? So he can't be that old. So he might want another 2-3-year contract. Wallace in the house, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us on Uncle Steve's Lounge. I appreciate that. Jacqueline says, even do we have salary cap, the players also have to want to come here. That's a good point. I said that at the beginning of free agency. You got to remember, we're a franchise that's lost 5 years in a row. Unless you were from here and have had ties to here. The linebacker Ellis had ties here. His dad, roommate with Jamal Anderson. I don't know what Jesse Bates' situation in the background, but obviously he likes the Atlanta area. That has a lot to do with it sometimes. Taylor Heineke, Collins Hill. I mean, unless you want to come to Atlanta, what else are you offering? Well, the 7-10 is on the way up. But wait a minute, y'all were 7-10 last year too. Don't look behind the curtain. The 7-10 is on the way up. You got a very good point. JBM93, y'all act like he's supposed to be a superstar his first 4 games. They said the same thing about Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen. No, but here's the difference, though. Here's the big difference. You drafted Jalen Hurts at a time when you knew Carson Wentz was on the way out. Jalen Hurts got his opportunity and really kind of got stymied a little bit by Peterson. If you think about, Peterson called himself trying to evaluate the other little guy. If you remember the last game against the Washington football team at that time, that was kind of a wonky situation. Josh Allen was a number 1 pick. No way you could put him in that category. There's no way that you're going to put a first-round pick in the top 10 in the same category as the 82nd person picked in the draft. Sorry, doesn't work that way. Done. Dixon Way, what's going on, man? Brother Larry in the house. Y'all check Larry out on the Dixon Way live reaction videos from all Atlanta sports, including that disappointing loss yesterday to the Spurs. Oh, my goodness. So, Steve, Derek Carr was kicked to the curb because he just wasn't it. This is why I didn't want him, because he hasn't been the same since Gruden was fired. And I'm not here to tell anybody that Derek Carr would have been my first pick either. But if we were going to play the experiment with Ritter, I would have loved to get somebody kind of like one notch below, maybe the Jimmy Garoppolo, where you can truly see if he was going to get better. Lisa says, Carr scored 0 points against the Aints last year. I'm not scared of him. He's serviceable. That's it. Devontae says, I can't speak for everyone, but if you've seen where we came from the last couple of years to now, you got to like and trust the process we on. It's been a while, but I believe rise up. And that's the attitude you got to have, folks. That's the attitude you got to have. Reggie CK says, hell no to OBJ. Yeah, I'm with you. Bottom Boy Felt says Ritter would be okay with a solid supporting cast. We got a long way to build with that cast, but I'm with you. I hope he does. Millie Field says, look, if any of y'all made it through the Joey Harrington year, us not being too sure on Ritter won't be as difficult. Wow. That is true. That's probably a little therapeutic to think that way. So I hear you. Derek says, I don't think he's feeling the pressure. Half the fan base don't like him. So it's not like they're expecting him to be good. So I'm not sure that's pressure, brother. You taking over for that. And there's gonna be pressure. Because he's right now slated to be the starter on an NFL team. And as a third round pick, you can say I'm playing with house money, but I think the trigger will be quicker to pull if he doesn't do well, like say first 8 games. It'll be a quicker trigger than it would be on Mariota. So no, I disagree with you wholeheartedly. I think there's pressure. There is pressure. And to know that they are going out on a limb to say, we trust and believe in you. You have the keys to this franchise. We really think you are the guy. Reggie says, all these LJ fans can go be Raven fan. It's not about that, brother. He's a free agent right now. And even though he has the contact, people are trying to get better. People were Jesse Bates fans before he got here. People were Onyemata fans talking about coming over here. People are talking about bringing in Ngakoue. So are they Ngakoue fans? It can't be both ways. If it's free agency and even though franchise, he can talk to other teams. People want to try to improve their team. It's no different than going out another free agency. That's not true. That's not true, and I don't think that's fair to people saying, "Hey, I want him to be on the team." It's not about being a Ravens fan. It's about being a Lamar Jackson fan. So I can't let you do that. Jacqueline says Ritter was literally Drake London fumble away from beating the Saints in the North. This is true. I was there. And the New Orleans fans they had those first 2 touchdowns in the first half. The Saints fans were going crazy. Thought they had won the Super Bowl. And then Ritter almost came back and got him. Christian says Odell going to be a playoff ready team by peeps. Just saying. Yeah, he might not come into the end. Lisa says, I won't be imagining what the Benz will be like if we had Lamar. What's the point of that? I can only concern myself with who's with the organization has designated as players on our 2023 roster. Again, and that's why I say to everyone who's still bringing that up to say, yeah, at this point, folks, with to me, the Taylor Heineke signing pretty much showed you where the Falcons are going. So I'm not telling you what to believe and what not to dream about and what not to hope for. But even somebody who was a fan of that move happening, I have to move on, man. It's all about Ritter right now. It's about Ritter. Don't have to be going crazy about it, but Ritter is our quarterback. So the support comes his way. Wallace says we're not drafting a defensive tackle with our 8th pick with the signing of Onyemata. You can never have too many big boys in the middle, man. Rotational catch. You can always have those in there. JBM93 say, I think we're picking Christian Gonzalez. And people, if you haven't had a chance to look at him, go look at some Oregon tape, man. Homeboy's pretty good, man. I got to give credit to my buddy Alberto in 95 North, kind of getting me on that particular bandwagon. Yeah, it wouldn't hurt my feelings if that was the move. Brother Ray in the house. What's going on, Ray? Good to see you in here. Toddy says, Frank TikTok Darby. We had people in our fan base talking like Darby was going to be our next Roddy White. Do you remember the picture they had of him catching the ball one-handed in shorts and a T-shirt back in the summer of 2021? And there were folks legitimately saying that he was going to be our next I don't even think they said Julio Jones, but he was going to be our next big-time wide receiver. And I'm not trying to dampen the man's dreams, but yeah. Oh, man. Nathaniel Callaway said the wide receivers from Tennessee Volunteers. Yeah, what's the name? Hyatt. He might be somebody that might be. I know a lot of people talking about him in the first round, but I think he might be more of a second round guy to me. Jacqueline says, didn't Matt Ryan make the playoffs his rookie year? Oh, yeah, I did. I think I said that, but maybe I'm just catching up with the comments. Absolutely. Yep. That's why I even said, when you talking about how rare it is for rookie quarterbacks to be put in situations, I can't count Purdy because Purdy got into it by default. Quite honestly, he was a third-string quarterback that just happened when he got his moment to show up. Not a soul forecast Purdy winning 7 games in a row down the stretch, and anybody who tries to give you that, they can stop with the lies. Facebook users say Herbert was pretty good his first year, over 4,000 yards, 31 touchdowns, but he didn't win anything. As a matter of fact, the Chargers, I think they were like 6-10. I think that was right before we went to 17 games. I want to say he was 16. He was either 6-10, or it wasn't like they were great. But it takes a minute. It does take a minute sometimes. Like I say, I'm trying to get down to a couple of more folks I can't see. Atlanta Falcons fan says Ritter is a winner. And I hope listen, he was a winner in college. He is 500 in the NFL in NFL starts. I hope he does. I really do. There's nothing that would really just make me feel better than to have my brother Ritter be a second team Pro Bowl alternative. It wouldn't, but you know. Big Low in the house. What's going on, man? Big Low Country Sports. Y'all make sure y'all check my brother out. Y'all already know who he is. What in the world, Bo? Did a good job yesterday on One Time for the Fan. We were watching you last night, brother. Keep bringing that good, positive Falcon content. We appreciate you, brother. Atlanta Falcons fan says Ritter got all the traits of a champion. Slow down, man. All right, slow down. I let you have the first part. Slow down. Slow down. Slow down. Slow down. You know who else had the traits of a champion? His name just came to my head and he left that quick. It was the LSU quarterback that was sipping the syrup? Look, we gotta just temper it a little bit. Temper it a little bit. When I think about it, Ritter won the AAC, won the championship, got to the Final Four, and that's great. But slow down. Slow down. Slow down. 330 says, what's up? Oh, what's going on, 330? Atlanta Falcon fans come back and say Ritter also went 44-6 in college. In 4 years, he is a winner. He was in college. He was. I want him to be a winner now. Ooh, I hope he does. You know what? I really hope he does because I know, man. Oh, my goodness. I hope he does. That's all I can say. Austin Douglas, what's going on? Says, Uncle Steve, I like Christian Gonzalez too. Yeah, he would definitely fit a need no matter what we do with Casey Hayward. I think that would be good. Again, I'm going to go to some folks in here. Bond says, man, we got to have faith in Ritter. Let the young boy eat. Again, it's not about faith to me. I have faith in the Falcons' decision-making. I hope he proves me wrong. It's not about it. And for those of you who were around long enough to remember Chris Miller, and I know some of the babies y'all might not know, and I'm not saying baby in a derogatory way. I'll use if I have copyright infringement, let me know. Big Low, he called y'all the Thundercats, y'all little young boys. Chris Miller was supposed to be that guy. Another Oregon guy, right? Wasn't Chris Miller Oregon? When he came to the organization, we were pretty much moving on from the Bartkowski era. Big time arm. He gave us 1 year, but just didn't pan out. And I think I've been probably tainted over the last few years of flameouts here in Atlanta. That doesn't mean we don't like our buddy Desmond. And I'm almost getting tired of saying it because I sound like a record. I'm sticking to my guns about what I think about the young man. I think he's young, and I think he wouldn't be my first choice. Prove me wrong, though. Prove me wrong as a fan. That's all I ask. I'm not telling you got to go out and be first team, all pro, and all of that. But I do want to win. You get me a win, brother. Shh, that stadium will fill up on its own. But you're not gonna tell me that the excitement and here's the other one. Y'all want the stadium to be exciting. Y'all don't want to win. That's the dumbest, idiotic, ridiculous statement to make. Of course we want the Falcons to win. But if you think winning means not having fans there, I mean, I don't even know why I addressed that. Of course we want to win. Ridiculous to think we didn't. Atlanta Falcons fans say he never lost a home game, college or pro. You wait and see. You wait. Travis says, I told you these thespians are going crazy. Pump the brakes. He was drafted in the 3rd round for a reason. Boy, I try to tell you. I can't tell you. Atlanta Falcons fan said, we can't say he's a bust after 4 games. Who said he was a bust? And see, and I'm going to tell you, some of y'all, some things too. Yeah, y'all got to get off social media if y'all get that triggered about him. Don't get so triggered when people make small little critiques. Don't get triggered. We'll be here. We'll be back. I hope that brother. I hope Desmond Ritter go 13-4. I hope he does. But I wouldn't put my money on it. Oh man. C. Freeman Bay says, late to the party, all aboard the Ritter train. Fontenot has a solid decision making history. By the way, let's get the lights up. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Appreciate it. Atlanta Berghain says almost all NFL players are winners in college, hence them becoming NFL players. Fallstar says Atlanta Falcons fan is right. Ritter is a winner. NFL great quarterbacks have that Kermit voice. Think about it. It's a few of them with that Kermit. He does kind of have that little bit of he'll work on that. He'll be pretty good. Matt Ryan had a little bit of a Kermit voice at the very beginning as well. So that's pretty funny. Roger says, would you be against the Falcons bringing in Clowney on a fair 1 year deal? On a fair one, yeah. I would sign Clowney maybe to a 1 year, six. I wouldn't go further than that. Clowney might be the biggest in the last 10 years, the biggest bust as a number one overall guy. Argue with me. C. Freeman says, however, I wouldn't be mad if we took a look at Stetson third round or later. Third round might be a little rich, but it wouldn't hurt my feelings if we grabbed him in the fifth or sixth. Wallace says, yes, Ritter did that in college, but this is the NFL. We need to see him in a full season to really evaluate him. Y'all do realize Jalen Hurts was not an automatic for Philadelphia in 2021, right? And he did okay in 2021, but when that comparison comes up, slow down. Y'all, everybody's not just because they had similar situations, Hurts second round, him third round, doesn't mean the exact results. There are first round picks, Josh Rosen, so far Zach Wilson, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, who don't make it. So when you hear the groundswell of Ritter will do it, and I'm looking at the list of folks before him that don't make it, that's why there's doubt. That's why there's concern. It's not negativity. It's not hate. And hate is such a... People throw that word around, and I really don't like it because I try not to hate in my life. It's not hate. It's concern. Concerned about my quarterback. Concerned about the quarterback of my franchise team. Concerned. Very much so. Slim Dollar 87. Nobody is dissing Ritter, but the odds of a rookie quarterback going to the playoffs is improbable. And Arthur Smith is already 14-20. And that second part, Slim, might be something that's lost upon folks too. So Big Low said, hey man, I asked, man. Come on, bro. I did ask if I could use the line. See, I would get a lawyer coming to my door and talk about the use of Thundercats is not available on Uncle Steve's Lounge. My bad, man. I got you covered, man. I'll bring you some icy hot for that hamstring. How about that? A lot of Falcon fans say the right weapons, I think Ritter could get a gun. Now, I agree with that. You give him a little bit more help, that'll be fine. JBM93 says, let's be real, every draft pick is a gamble. Brother, you saying. And really, let's even take it one step further. The free agents that we brought in, some of them may have thrived in other situations and not in this one. So that could be something too. And last one going to be for tonight because brother got to go pick up his daughter here from her practice today. John says they say they want to marry him and have already went to Zales and bought the ring for him. This is so true in a lot of ways. But listen, y'all. Don't let it be said that your unk is not supporting Atlanta Falcons players. I support Ritter. But just like when our last quarterback was here, I supported him. But I reserve the right to actually question. I think sometimes when we blindly start talking about how great somebody is when they're really not, that's when the letdown happens. Because some of the same folks that are blindly saying this now will be the same ones 2 years from now on the bridge up at 17th Street off 75 getting ready to jump when we don't make the moves like we did. And let's hope they don't. But that's all I'm just saying. Just temper those expectations. But I also say make me wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I am. And I really mean that. I'm not saying that sarcastically or whatever. I hope Desmond Ridder balls out in 2023. Because you know what that means? That means my team will be winning. And I will be happy. And we all will be happy. And we'll be kumbaya. And we can have ice cream together. And we can have parties and celebrations and all that good stuff. Anyway, I appreciate y'all joining me today. Thank y'all so much, brother Falcon fans for life. I appreciate this. This chat has been awesome. Y'all make sure y'all join your if you get a chance to, please, especially a lot of the new people. I appreciate y'all joining. Please hit the subscribe button. Push it down. Again, we're trying to creep up there to 1,000 before we get to the draft and have our draft coverage. We come in every Monday and Friday for sure. We'll have the brunch sometime between 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock starting on Fridays. And then on Mondays, we always have the aftermath as we did just a few minutes ago. And I appreciate everyone joining. Thank you so much. Don't forget to push the like button. Y'all make sure y'all look out for my guys. A lot of my guys were in here today. Brother Big Low from Big Low Country Sports. My brother Smitty's Sports Machine in the house. My brother Alberto 95 North. Out of your Falcon mind. John and Mike always putting down good info. One time for the fan. Love them. ATL, GA Faithful. All those guys. Again, guys that I look at and we bounce off each other. And it's just a beautiful thing with these positive Falcon creators, man. We want to keep this love going all the way into week 1 of 2023. Until then, we'll catch y'all later on. And y'all have a blessed week. We'll see y'all Friday for the brunch. Take care now.